Welcome to People with Purpose. I am your host, Sylvain Rochon. I'm a speaker, an author, a serial entrepreneur, and a business strategist. My purpose is to engineer a paradise on Earth using cutting-edge technology. I hope this show will give you excellent examples of individuals that chose to do great things in their personal and professional lives. Perhaps they will inspire you to follow in their footsteps. The show's format is very simple. I ask my guests 3 simple questions. What is your personal purpose? Why is it important to you? And how did you get started? Now let's hear from our guest. Hello everyone, we are here in Collab Space. This is a place of collaboration. Businesses come here to rent a little space, grow their business and collaborate with great individuals and great mentors. And we have one of the people that is renting a space here. Her name is Beth Sturdevant. Welcome to the show, Beth.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Beth is here as the owner of the Wearers of the Light. You can see this in the background. I've looked at the website. I've taken some of the classes. I've enjoyed myself. This is not the reason why we're here together, but it attracted me to your story because you did write a bit about your story inside on the website, and it made me wonder, like, wow, this person has something inside her that I need to know and to understand, and I want the audience to understand as well. So the question of the show is, what is your life purpose? And well, tell me about it.
So my life purpose, it's always kind of like the holy grail of questions, right? For me, my life purpose basically is the evolution of my life to date. You know, I came to understand my purpose over a series of, I guess, trial and error, mistakes, you know, as most people do, right? That's the purpose of mistakes. So my overarching life purpose, I would say, is to help reconnect people or help them harness their warrior spirits. So that's helping them basically find the strength within, or tapping into that strength, because some people already have it and they're already living it, but balancing it out. So not just in the traditional sense of the warrior, you know, the physical warrior, but using that energy and using that strength, using that courage also mentally in our lives, emotionally and spiritually, right? So that's connecting with themselves and their own purpose, right? Finding that within themselves,
right?
Being grounded in who they are. So in a nutshell, that's what my purpose is today and pretty much moving forward, and you know, why I created Warriors of the Light, and also why I do what I do as a healer, you know, as an energy healer, is to help other people find that power within themselves, reclaim it so that they can essentially be their own heroes, right? Why
is this empowerment, like the getting people their power back in some way, why is that important to you, and why did you choose the sword and shield kind of a form factor inside the Warriors of the Light?
Absolutely, great question. First off, why is it important to me? Mainly because a large portion of my life, I didn't have power. My power was taken away from me at a very young age when I was the victim of molestation as a child. And I had actually blocked it out. It was a family friend, and part of my story, you know, nothing to basically take away or claim as my own, in that it happened, it's done, move on,
right,
kind of thing.
okay.
So, but what I came to realize was the effect that happened, that had on me throughout my life, especially not even realizing that it had happened. So it's almost like a domino effect. So when your power, or when there are causes, traumatic situations, whether it's perceived or real, that's the cause. And so the effect that they have on you, if you don't, from an energetic healer's perspective, if you don't actually release the effect that they have on you, it starts to snowball. And so from that very young age, you know, then it was like, you know, anorexia in my teens, and then I was date raped as well in my teens, and then, you know, all these things I was desperately trying to find that power and reclaim it within myself. And so, you know, as a child, I studied classical cello, and I was really good at it. And even that, you know, it wasn't that I chose it because it was something that I associated with or empowered me. I did it mainly because I was searching for my power. Is this my purpose? Is this my purpose? So my parents are classical musicians, so therefore, well,
it was natural for you to go there and experience.
And it's an amazing thing, and I'm thankful for my experiences. So again, I'm going to try that hat on, classical cellist. Let's try that hat on. And so as I'm desperately searching, and I'm going to university in the States, and I'm experiencing all these amazing things, you know, I never felt centered. I never felt grounded. And so I was also impressionable to, we'll say, negative influences in life, you know, substance abuse, being with toxic relationships, and things like that. So because I lacked the personal power and the personal strength within, I wasn't able to, let's say, leave relationships I should have left, or walk away from, you know, toxic people in my life, or even set clear boundaries or respectful boundaries for myself. You know, even substance abuse is a perfect example of not honoring or respecting yourself, right?
Sure.
Trying to fill yourself with some external power.
Yeah,
Purpose.
That makes sense.
So, you know, I lived everywhere, and I used to pride myself on never staying in one place for more than 2 years. I went to 3 high schools, I went to 3 universities, and every year I would always move, or sorry, every 2 years I would always move. You know, I've lived in Banff and Toronto, and I lived in Greece for a while, and eventually I ended up in New York City. Amazing, lovely time. I started playing on Broadway and playing with, you know, some of the biggest stars, touring with Barbara Streisand. I was on Broadway with Harry Connick Jr. Like an extremely amazing life.
A life that people usually aspire to, right?
Absolutely, and it was great. But in the end of the day, there was no me. It wasn't centered. It wasn't that itch would come in of, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? I wasn't grounded in my power. And at the time, I was engaged to my children's father, and as circumstances would have it, he cheated on me and left me. So then I became a single mother with pregnant and with a 1-year-old, and I decided to move back up to my hometown of Ottawa to be more support, and that kind of, you know, rediscovery of who am I? Here I'm in back in a new city, right?
Right. But you hadn't been gone for a long time.
I had been gone for a while, yeah. But more it's, okay, well, my career's in New York, was in New York City. Music here is a little different. So I did what I had to do. I went back to school. It was, again, searching. Who am I? Where am I? What am I going to do? Blah, 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 right?
And how old are you at that point when you came back here?
Oh gosh, I was 31, 32, so about 10 years ago, 10 years ago.
All right.
And so again, I'm searching, but not from a place of strength, from a place of fear, right? So over the next couple of years, you know, I'm basically in survival mode, trying to be a single mom, find myself as such, trying to redefine myself in all aspects of my life. And so what I found was that, you know, again, the snowball effect of the traumas from the past, and then mixed with the traumas of the present.
Yeah, the stresses of reality.
Stresses, and the dealing with postpartum, which I didn't realize I had, dealing with PTSD from the abandonment and all of that. When you don't have a way to process it in a healthy way, again, it gets stored. And so it takes effects, and it causes you to do or to react to things in not so healthy ways. And so I wasn't I was desperately searching, again, for that power, desperately searching for that power. And so it wasn't until I lost somebody that really was meaningful to me in my life later on, when I realized the true effect of what had happened to me. And so at that time, I was just starting my search and just basically starting my my path on the energy healing, right, and the spiritual healing. And so when we broke up, that's when I finally, it hit me, and it basically the best imagery is I was brought to my knees, basically in pain, right? That, not the abandonment, not the rape, not those things, but the fact that I had a cause. I was part of the cause of something that really was meaningful to me.
Yeah.
Not by virtue of being a bad person, but by virtue of not having power. You know, I claimed to be a warrior. Everybody claims to be a warrior, you know, jumping out of planes, climbing 14,000 feet mountain. Like, in that respect, yes, but then my actions would prove otherwise. I would become, you know, I didn't have clear boundaries again. I would overcompensate in giving. I would lose control and become insecure and just do things that were unbecoming of my true nature, which is...
So you were looking for joy outside of yourself.
Because I didn't have it internally.
Right.
You're right. I'm looking for power from other sources, right? From other people, we'll say, as well.
And it puts you in a vulnerable position because
Absolutely.
you don't control your own self that way.
Yeah, because then it's need.
Yes.
And I need that. I need that to feel good about myself. I need that external power. So at that point, that's when I really started to turn my eyes or my energies inwards. And I was taking a 2-year shamanic angel healing course. And instead of kind of looking at the external reasons, oh, this is why I do this is why I do that, or blah, 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 I looked inside. And I realized, oh crap, everything, my whole reality, all of the stuff that I have is indicative of my self-worth, which is your power, right? And so then I started to really do the work and really started to find myself. And through that self-discovery, through that healing process, healing journey as we call it, I had a vision of Warriors of the Light. And basically the need that people have to find their personal power, to find that true strength. But again, not physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically, whatever capacity you need it, right? So I started the workshops, but it wasn't until I actually started working with Andy Keyworth, who's our sword and shield guy, and I picked up the sword, because at the time we were doing Kenjutsu, which is what he was teaching at the time. And I was like, oh my God, where has this been all my life? It just subconsciously taps into an energy inside of you, whether you believe in past lives, whether it's DNA, whether it's just genetic. And even I saw it with the people in the workshop. They'd pick up the sword and they were like, oh my God. It just gives you a sense of power, right? It taps into that source that we already have inside of us. And so I was like, you know what? We need to add sword and shield. My heritage is Danish. Vikings are super popular right now, and
that's true.
It's really true. But it wasn't just okay. The sword is great, but we need a shield to also protect ourselves, right? And so, kind of through the development and the evolution of it, I started as the energetic healer, figuring out, okay, well, how do I use this energetically? How do I go out into the real world, or when I'm facing fear with something in my life, we're not going to use a sword and shield in 2018.
Not in real life, no.
Not the average person. But I can teach people how to use it energetically, right? And I even help my 2 children to use it as well at school. So, the shield represents not only boundaries and protection, but it also represents a way of transmuting negative energy.
Yeah, sure.
Right? So, like, for example, when they're on the playground and they get bullied, which my older son gets bullied all the time, put up that shield. Protect yourself, so then at least you're not taking on what they're saying, and you realize, you start looking at them with more compassion. Because their words come up and it pushes back, and instead of pushes back in a negative way, it turns into love, compassion, forgiveness. Hurt people, right? So it helps you to kind of understand that they're actually really hurt.
So in a way, the sword and shield kind of becomes, like for the learner, I suppose, becomes a representations
of their own.
Of power you already have, and then you can use it without the actual equipment.
Way.
Yeah.
In a tangible way, right? When I work with, people one-on-one, I have many different tools, we'll call it, to help them reclaim their power in a personal way. But in the class setting, we do the same thing, but just in a group, and it's been more fulfilling than anything I could ever imagine, more so than playing with Barbara Streisand, more, being on Broadway, or it's a different sense of purpose. It's you're giving back to the universe, to the world, joy, love. Those are the things that are really going to change the world, right? So
you think what you're saying here is that, through your giving like this understanding to others, by teaching others what you've discovered for yourself, gives you joy.
Absolutely.
And it allows you to kind of position yourself in the universe in some way.
Absolutely.
And that's how has your life changed really since you've made the transition from then to this epiphany?
I feel whole. That's the best feeling, the best description I can give, at least for myself, is before, I could say, okay, I was strong here, I was strong physically, I was strong somewhat mentally, but then I was lacking it spiritually and emotionally. But now I can honestly say I feel strong, courageous in all aspects of it, in a well-rounded way. So in that respect, for myself, I'm centered, I'm grounded. So when I meet obstacles or something happens, I'm able to disengage and not get triggered or not let it affect me adversely anymore, right? I have more power in my choices and my actions. But also, it helps, it helps you get through more difficult situations, because life happens, right? We're still human. So, for example, a year ago, a man broke into my house while I was sleeping.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. About a year and a half ago, Christmas time. And my 2 children were asleep, and he held me at gunpoint in my bedroom. And then he kidnapped me and brought me to the bank and emptied out my bank account. Now this was right when I started Warriors of the Light. This was after I'd done all my healing training and everything.
Right.
And the miraculous thing about it, and which was really a solidification in where I've come, how far I've come within myself, was the overriding feeling, apart from fear and wanting to protect my children, obviously, was compassion.
Yes, that's amazing.
In the face of death, right?
Yeah.
Gun to your head, guys in the back seat of the car, I felt compassion, like genuine. I wanted to help this guy. So, obviously my priority was getting him out of the house, which we did.
Which you did.
But I was able to center myself and ground myself in the moment, so I didn't overreact. I didn't, I wasn't hysterical. My children never woke up. And so I made it back safe, #1 priority, right? So, even at the very end, before he let me go, he was asking for everything, and I genuinely wanted to give him everything I had. I wanted to have more to be able to give him, because here's this man who was in such a desperate state to rob a single mom right after Christmas.
Right.
Right? So I was like, wow, I feel so bad for this guy. And it was at that point, and because I had the tools thankfully in the support system that I do, I was able to process the effects of trauma that would have happened. So that's fine, but that was basically the proof to me of what I do.
Of just how far you've gone.
How far I've come, right?
That's an amazing story, because I mean, the majority of people would freak out. Like literally, they would lose their mind. Right?
5 years ago, I probably would have as well.
Yeah. So that's like having compassion towards somebody that obviously is doing something not because he really wants to. Like people don't do that just out of fun.
It's not excusing his actions.
No.
But it's helping to kind of have X-ray eyes into the reasons.
Yeah. And then you can calmly go through it and survive it. Go back to your kids, and it's only money. Then, like quote unquote, right? It's fine, right? Ultimately, and then you can always go to the police and file reports and do all that stuff. It's absolutely an amazing story. You are an inspiration to many. I hope a lot of people will watch this, because I know from my own experiences, and you know yourself, huge amounts of individuals don't know where the locus of their power is. Yes. They always look externally. Absolutely. And it makes them reactive, it makes them weak, not in a pejorative way, but susceptible, I guess would be a better word. And we need a better society, and a better society is strong, independent individuals that act out of love.
Absolutely.
Right, and that's what I want to achieve in the world. I want to help the world doing that. So you're helping me do exactly that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the interview. If you did, please subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share. Please join me also on Clubify, a social app allowing us to share ideas and where you can participate in some of my projects. The link is in the section below. Also, if you wish to recommend someone great I should interview, please let me know. And as always, follow your passion. See you next week.